You've probably been told this for years. Take your vitamins. They're good for you. They protect your heart, your bones, your brain. And if you're like most people over 60, you believed it. You trusted that daily multivitamin. You trusted those bottles labeled heart healthy or immune support. You took them like clockwork, thinking you were doing the right thing. But what if I told you some of those vitamins, especially when taken together, could be quietly working against your heart? What if the very thing you thought was protecting you was actually hardening your arteries, raising your blood pressure, even putting you at risk for stroke? This isn't fear-mongering. This isn't guesswork. This is science. Because today, we now have peer-reviewed studies, real data, showing that certain vitamin combinations, especially in older adults, can increase your risk of heart disease, irregular heartbeat, and even early death. And the worst part? These combinations are sold together. They're marketed as safe. But behind the label is a dangerous cocktail. If you've ever taken more than one supplement a day, or thought more is better when it comes to vitamins, stick around. This video could save your heart, literally. Now, before we dive in, let me ask, how old are you? Where are you watching from? And what vitamins do you take daily? Drop your answers in the comments. We read every single one. And if you'd like, we'll respond with safer options that fit your routine. Before we get into the list, let me ask you something. Have you ever taken your daily vitamins and then felt off? Maybe a little more tired than usual, or your heart skipping a beat here and there, or feeling dizzy after climbing stairs, even though you've been eating well and exercising? You chalked it up to aging, or maybe to stress. But what if it was the vitamins? You see, many seniors experience symptoms that seem unrelated. Fatigue, shortness of breath, tingling in the hands or feet, a weird fluttering in the chest. These aren't always signs of a major event, but they are warning lights on your body's dashboard. And sometimes they're triggered, not by a disease, but by how certain supplements interact in your system. Your heart, your kidneys, your blood vessels. They all work harder to process and regulate vitamins once you're over 60. So instead of giving you a boost, the wrong combination can push things out of balance. And that's why this matters. Because we're not just talking about rare side effects. We're talking about everyday symptoms that go unnoticed until they build up into something serious. Wouldn't you rather catch the pattern early? Wouldn't it be better to adjust your routine now, instead of later, when it might be too late? That's why we're sharing this list, so you can take your health back into your hands and make smarter, safer choices moving forward. Let's start with a combination that seems harmless, and yet it's quietly stressing the hearts of millions of older adults every day. Vitamin A and vitamin E. You've probably seen them paired together in vision support or immune booster supplements. They're both antioxidants. They both sound like something your body needs. But what if, when taken together, they actually do the opposite of what you expect? Because here's the truth. In high doses, especially in older adults, vitamin A and E can shift from antioxidants to pro-oxidants. That means instead of protecting your cells, they can create oxidative stress, a toxic buildup of free radicals in your bloodstream. And that's where the real damage begins. Oxidative stress has been linked to thickening of the arteries, spikes in blood pressure, and an increased load on the heart. especially in people over 60. In fact, a 2013 meta-analysis published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that vitamin E, especially when paired with preformed vitamin A, was associated with a 17% higher risk of all-cause mortality. Heart-related issues led the list. Why does this happen? Because vitamin E can interfere with blood clotting, and vitamin A, when taken in excess, can raise triglyceride levels and strain the liver. Together, they form a dangerous combo that quietly exhausts your cardiovascular system. Instead of boosting your health, they may be pushing your blood pressure higher and your energy levels lower. Have you ever felt more tired after taking your daily supplements? It might not be in your head. So what can you do instead? Rather than stacking these two in pill form, focus on getting them from whole foods, like leafy greens for beta-carotene and almonds or sunflower seeds for vitamin E. And if supplementation is necessary, take them at separate times. Space them out by several hours, or even alternate days entirely. Because at your age, your heart deserves targeted support, not a random chemical cocktail that throws your system off balance. Your body is wiser now, and it needs your decisions to be wiser too. Next on the list is a pair that's often promoted as a must-have for energy and brain health: vitamin B6 and B12. Walk into any pharmacy, and you'll see B-complex bottles stacked high, promising better memory, sharper thinking, stronger nerves. It's a popular pick among people over 60, especially if you're on medications like metformin. But here's the warning few people know. When B6 and B12 are taken together in high or unbalanced doses, they can quietly disrupt the rhythm of your heart. That's right. Two vitamins meant to support your brain and nerves can actually stress your cardiovascular system and even trigger irregular heartbeat. The issue lies in a small molecule you might not have heard of: homocysteine. In normal amounts, it's harmless. But when homocysteine spikes, or crashes too quickly, it puts a strain on your blood vessels. And both B6 and B12 play a direct role in regulating it, but through different pathways. So when you take both together without knowing your levels, your system can swing out of balance. That's not a guess. It's been studied. A 2010 study published in the journal Stroke found that while moderate intake could reduce stroke risk, long-term combined supplementation, especially in older adults, was associated with a 33% increase in arterial stiffness and a rise in ventricular arrhythmias. Now, think about that. You might be taking B12 for energy or to prevent nerve damage, and you may not even realize that B6, when taken too often, can build up in your body and cause symptoms that look like B12 deficiency: tingling, numbness, weakness. So what ends up happening? You feel off, you take more supplements, and you fuel the very problem you're trying to fix. It becomes a loop, one your heart and nervous system struggle to handle. Instead of chasing symptoms, get your B12 and homocysteine levels tested first. If you need supplementation, choose methylated forms like methylcobalamin for B12, and keep B6 under 10 milligrams per day unless your doctor advises otherwise. Avoid high-dose energy shots or Mega-B formulas. They may feel like a quick boost, but your heart needs steady support, not chemical surges. Because at this stage in life, your body doesn't bounce back the same way it used to. So instead of stacking blindly, choose balance. Because that's what keeps your heart steady. For decades, we've been told that calcium and vitamin D3 are the dream team for strong bones. Doctors prescribe them. Pharmacies push them. Multivitamins make them front and center. But here's the twist. That combo may be protecting your bones, while quietly putting your heart at serious risk. Sound surprising? That's because no one talks about what happens after the calcium is absorbed. See, vitamin D3 helps your body pull calcium from your gut into your bloodstream. That part works well. But the real question is, where does that calcium go next? If it doesn't get directed into your bones or teeth, it can settle somewhere else, like your arteries. And that's where the damage begins. As we age, the body's ability to regulate calcium, where it gets deposited, starts to break down, especially if you're low on another key nutrient, vitamin K2. Without enough K2, calcium doesn't know where to go. So instead of strengthening your bones, it hardens your blood vessels. A study published in the BMJ found that seniors taking calcium with vitamin D had a 30% higher risk of heart attack. And that's not all. JAMA Cardiology reported that seniors who took daily calcium supplements, with or without vitamin D, had significantly higher coronary artery calcium scores, a direct sign of plaque buildup. And the symptoms? They don't scream danger. They whisper. A little chest tightness, a pulse that feels off, higher blood pressure, despite eating right and staying active. Most people never connect the dots. They think it's just aging. But the truth is, this combination, in the wrong balance, can be silently damaging your heart from the inside out. So what's the fix? First, don't ditch vitamin D3 or calcium altogether. They're still important, but the key is balance. Stick with moderate doses, around 1,000 IU of vitamin D3 per day, and never take more than 600 millidimers of calcium at a time. Your body can't absorb more than that anyway. The rest just floats in your bloodstream. Most importantly, pair your D3 with vitamin K2, especially in the MK7 form. It's the escort that makes sure calcium gets delivered to your bones, not your arteries. And whenever possible, get your calcium from food. Leafy greens, sardines, chia seeds, sesame. They come with natural cofactors that make absorption safer. Because instead of blindly adding more supplements, you need to guide them. That's how you protect your bones and your heart, without sacrificing one for the other. Magnesium and zinc, two essential minerals that many seniors take daily. Magnesium to relax your muscles and ease sleep. Zinc to boost your immune system and support testosterone. They sound like a great pair, right? But when taken together in the wrong balance, they can quietly throw your mineral system out of sync. And that imbalance can hurt your heart. You see, magnesium and zinc compete for absorption in the gut. Take too much of one, and you crowd out the other. But here's what most people don't realize. When zinc is taken in high doses, it doesn't just push out magnesium, it also depletes copper. And copper plays a vital role in making red blood cells and transporting oxygen to your heart and brain. So think about this. Instead of improving circulation, this combo, if unbalanced, can reduce oxygen delivery. That means your heart has to pump harder, your energy drops, and in some cases, you might feel lightheaded, short of breath, or just off. A clinical review in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that high zinc intake, above 40 milligrams per day, can lead to copper deficiency, anemia, and even cardiomyopathy, a condition where the heart muscle weakens and can't pump efficiently. And the problem isn't always obvious. Many seniors take a multivitamin that already includes zinc, then add a magnesium glycinate at night for sleep, or a zinc lozenge for immunity during flu season. The result? Micronutrient conflict. Not because either mineral is bad, but because they weren't balanced. So, what's the safer way? Instead of megadoses, go for low, balanced formulations that also include trace minerals like copper and selenium. Check the zinc to copper ratio on your supplements. The ideal is roughly 8:1. Anything beyond that, and you may be starving your heart of oxygen at the cellular level. So rather than chasing isolated benefits, like more zinc for immunity, think holistically. Your body doesn't absorb nutrients in isolation. It works in harmony. And the better you balance those pieces, the better your heart will serve you every single day. Now, let's talk about a combination that seems like a calm, safe pair. Vitamin D and magnesium. One helps with mood and immune health. The other relaxes muscles, supports sleep, and lowers blood pressure. Sounds like a perfect nighttime routine, doesn't it? But what if I told you that, together, these two could quietly drain another mineral you absolutely need for a healthy heart? Potassium. And when potassium gets low, that's when the real trouble starts. See, vitamin D enhances calcium and phosphate absorption. Magnesium, in turn, is needed to activate vitamin D in the body. They're partners in function, but they also affect how your kidneys manage electrolytes, especially potassium. As you get older, your kidneys don't regulate minerals like they used to. And if you're taking blood pressure meds or diuretics, you're already at risk for flushing potassium too quickly. Stack D and magnesium on top of that, especially in supplement form, and you've got the perfect setup for hypokalemia, low potassium. It doesn't shout, it creeps in slowly. You might feel tired, you might get leg cramps at night. Maybe your heart feels like it skips or flutters, and most doctors won't connect it to your supplements. But potassium is essential for keeping your heart's electrical system stable. Without enough, you raise your risk of arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats, by up to 60%. That's according to a review published in Nephrology Dialysis Transplantation. And that risk climbs even higher when potassium loss is combined with high magnesium intake. The biggest mistake people make? They take a high-dose D3 in the morning, magnesium glycinate at night, and never once think about potassium. So, what can you do instead? Rather than skipping these supplements, support them. If you're using D3 and magnesium, great, but make sure you're also eating foods rich in potassium, like bananas, spinach, sweet potatoes, coconut water, and avocados. And keep your supplement doses in check. 200 to 300 milliliter of magnesium daily is plenty. Vitamin D3, stick to under 2,000 IU a day, unless your doctor tells you otherwise. Because rather than overloading your system, you want to keep the balance, so your heart stays steady, and your energy doesn't crash by surprise. A healthy heart doesn't just depend on what you add. It depends on what you protect. You've probably heard this advice before. Take your iron with vitamin C. It helps with absorption. And that's true. Vitamin C does improve how well your body takes in iron. That's why so many immune boosters or anemia support supplements pair them together. But here's what they don't tell you. Once that extra iron gets absorbed, your body has to know how to manage it. And after 60, that gets harder. Iron is a double-edged sword. In the right amount, it carries oxygen and supports energy. But in excess, it becomes pro-oxidant, a chemical that actually damages your blood vessels from the inside. When you add vitamin C to the mix, you're not just improving absorption, you're supercharging that oxidation. Think of it like rust. Too much iron in the bloodstream, especially with vitamin C, can spark reactions that oxidize cholesterol, harden artery walls, and slowly reduce your heart's ability to pump efficiently. A study published in Free Radical Biology and Medicine showed that high iron levels paired with high vitamin C intake increased lipid peroxidation. That's the process that damages blood vessel linings by up to 47%. That kind of damage doesn't show up all at once. It starts small. A little fatigue after meals, some breathlessness, heart palpitations that come and go. You might think it's just your age, but your body could be struggling to manage excess iron that it never needed in the first place. So how do you stay safe? First, don't assume iron is harmless. Unless you've been diagnosed with iron deficiency or anemia, you may not need extra iron at all. And if your doctor does recommend iron, take it with water, not with juice or a vitamin C pill, and space it away from your C supplements by a few hours. Better yet, get your vitamin C from whole foods, citrus, bell peppers, berries. These sources are slower to absorb and come with natural buffers, because instead of pushing nutrients in faster, you want them to work with your body, at your body's pace. And above all, ask your doctor to check your serum ferritin levels regularly. For most older adults, anything over 200,000 ml could already be a red flag. So rather than combining these two health heroes automatically, pause, rethink, and give your heart one less battle to fight. Vitamin E and omega-3s. That's a combination most seniors trust without question. After all, both are marketed as heart-friendly. Vitamin E for circulation, omega-3 for cholesterol and inflammation. But what if together they're not protecting your heart? They're thinning your blood beyond safe levels? That's right. While each nutrient has benefits on its own, when combined, they can increase your risk of internal bleeding, including the kind that leads to hemorrhagic stroke. Let's break this down. Vitamin E, especially in the common supplement form alpha-tocopherol, acts as a natural anticoagulant. It prevents platelets from clumping together. Omega-3s do something similar. EPA and DHA reduce platelet activity and slow clot formation. On their own, your body can manage. But taken together, especially at higher doses, the blood-thinning effects don't just add up, they multiply. A double-blind study in blood coagulation and fibrinolysis found that seniors taking both omega-3 and vitamin E had a 31% longer bleeding time than those on either one alone. That might not sound dramatic, but imagine you're on aspirin or a prescribed blood thinner. Now stack E and omega-3 on top of that. Suddenly, a nosebleed lasts twice as long. A bruise spreads in hours. And if bleeding happens inside your brain or abdomen, you might not even know until it's too late. This isn't hypothetical. There are documented cases, like the 76-year-old woman who developed a serious abdominal hematoma after taking high-dose fish oil and vitamin E for just 6 weeks. And she wasn't even on any other medication. So how do you stay safe? Start by getting your omega-3s from food instead of pills. Fatty fish like salmon or sardines a few times a week provide heart benefits without pushing clotting risk too far. Avoid high-dose vitamin E supplements entirely. Instead, choose natural sources like sunflower seeds or almonds, which give you smaller, food-based doses your body can handle. And if you're already taking blood thinners, talk to your doctor. Show them your supplements. Ask how they interact. Because rather than loading up on heart-friendly pills, you may need less, not more. A strong heart isn't just about circulation. It's about balance. And bleeding too easily is not balance. We've finally arrived at number 1, the most dangerous vitamin combo for heart health, and, ironically, the most commonly recommended: calcium and vitamin D. You've heard it everywhere. For stronger bones, fewer fractures, better aging. Doctors prescribe it. TV commercials praise it. And millions of seniors take it daily without a second thought. But what if I told you this trusted combo could be increasing your risk of arterial calcification by more than 70%? That's not just theory. A study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that older adults taking calcium and vitamin D together had a 22% higher risk of heart attack. Other studies point to up to a 70% increase in arterial hardening, especially when these nutrients are taken without proper balance. Why does this happen? Because calcium doesn't move on its own. It needs direction. And while vitamin D helps your gut absorb more calcium, it doesn't tell your body where to put it. So instead of settling into your bones, that calcium can float freely, building up in soft tissues, arteries, kidneys, and even your heart valves. Over time, this leads to plaque buildup, higher blood pressure, and reduced blood flow to the brain and heart. Symptoms often go unnoticed: stiff joints, tired legs, rising blood pressure despite a healthy lifestyle. You think you're helping your bones, but silently, you're weakening your heart. So what can you do instead? First, don't panic. Calcium and vitamin D are important, but they need to be taken with guidance. Never take more than 600 millivitamins of calcium at a time. Split your doses if needed, because your body can't absorb more than that in one go. Keep vitamin D3 under 2,000 IU per day, unless your doctor prescribes otherwise. And always pair D3 with vitamin K2, especially the MK7 form. K2 is what tells calcium: go to the bones, stay out of the arteries. It activates proteins that move calcium where it belongs, and keep it out of places it doesn't. Studies show that when vitamin K2 is added, it can reduce arterial stiffness by up to 37% in older adults. So instead of just thinking bones, think direction. Think balance. Your heart and your bones don't have to compete. You just have to support them both the right way. Because what you take every day matters. And the wrong combination, no matter how well intended, could cost you more than you realize. So what have we learned? We've covered 8 combinations that millions of older adults take every day, thinking they're doing the right thing. But as we've seen, these combos can raise blood pressure, disrupt heart rhythm, accelerate arterial calcification, and even increase the risk of stroke or early death. The problem isn't that vitamins are bad. It's that your body over 60 processes them differently. More isn't better. And mixing the wrong ones can do more harm than skipping them altogether. Instead of load up on supplements, it's time we switch to targeted, intentional support. Instead of chasing every health claim on a bottle, ask, what does my body actually need? Because the safest path isn't about avoiding vitamins, it's about using them wisely, with balance, with purpose. That's how you stay strong, protect your heart, and age with confidence, not confusion. And now, it's your turn. Have you been using any of these combinations? Have you noticed any strange symptoms you thought were just age? What will you do differently after hearing this? Because your health doesn't come from a label. It comes from knowledge, from asking the right questions, from paying attention to your body, and making changes before symptoms become emergencies. If this video helped open your eyes, don't let it stop here. Drop a comment below and tell us, how old are you? Where are you watching from? And what vitamins do you take each day? We read every single comment. And when you share your routine, we'll respond with safer, more balanced suggestions just for you. Because your health deserves more than guesswork. It deserves real attention. If you've got a loved one over 60, your spouse, a sibling, a parent, send this video to them. Let's protect each other with truth, not just tradition. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss another video packed with life-saving insight. You deserve to thrive in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. And we're here to walk that journey with you. One clear, science-backed step at a time. Thanks for watching. Take care of your heart. And we'll see you in the next one.